Alright. Well, I had done this, I think, once, or, well, no, it wasn't actually for any RuneScape server. I think it was actually for a MapleStory server that I had actually done an update video for. And because I know there's a lot of people that, I mean, either A, they probably never even look at the home page, they don't even know there's an update, they don't pay attention, and I know there's plenty of people out there that probably don't even want to read. They're just like, reading, what the hell is that? So I thought I would kind of do a little video and kind of talk about the update because I actually really kind of like this update, honestly. So I thought I'd kind of do a little video and talk about the update and my thoughts on the update. Um, the first thing on here showing that Reverence had been released. Um, I mean, like at first I was kind of like, at first when I saw the Reverence released, I was like, okay. I was like, I mean, because we could already buy all of the PvP stuff from just getting PkHonor points. Now, of course, with getting those points, it really kind of sucked, like spending all your points to buy those pieces of gear. Whereas they could be used on so many more useful things. So I thought that was a really cool thing. I mean, me myself, I've never bought any of the PvP gear. Um, but, I'm sure plenty of people have, and this probably kind of annoyed the shit out of some people that PK a lot. But I guess they can't be too mad about it. So, and looking on here though, there's 14 different types of the reverence. There's all the way from imps all the way to dragons. So there is a lot more. Uh, how do you say? There's a lot more than. Well, there's a lot more of a variety compared to more so say like in actual RuneScape. Like yeah, there was all the reverence, but there was always the main ones that were killed. Which the cool thing they've done, I mean, granted, this was something with RuneScape as well, was that everything could drop everything in a sense, where imps could drop the same stuff. It was just it wasn't very often, obviously, because they're so low level and blah blah. Let's see, on here, they spawn randomly all over the wilderness, mostly in places where there are a lot of player activity, as well as in graveyards and ruins. Now, I think this is an amazing thing. Pretty much forcing it to be where players are is where Reverence will be. I mean, of course, as well, they'll also be in graveyards and ruins, so I'm sure there's people that have, figured out exactly where a good place is to probably camp Reverence, I'm sure. Um, Now, for the fact that it does say that will be randomly mostly in places where a lot of players are, I kind of wonder about that because I mean, think about like if there's a clan like let's say like 10 people or so, maybe a few more or something. They go out and kill like Wildy Worm or some shit, and if they're in the middle of killing Wildy Worm, and then all of a sudden like two reverends spawn or even just one reverend spawns while they're trying to kill it, I mean, I could only imagine how obnoxious that could honestly be. So, I mean, I know if I am correct, they don't aggro, if I'm correct. So, I guess it wouldn't be too much of a problem if they don't aggro. I did see a few people, or I think it was actually Kyle that logged in and said that he had logged in right next to a Reverend, and it didn't auto attack him, though. Now, I mean, I don't know if that was because of the fact, of course, he's admin, but I mean, other people were talking about it as well of the fact that they don't automatically attack you. Which, if they don't, I guess that's fine. But I could just see how easy that kind of is, though, for a clan that they could just kind of post out in the wilderness, just doing random shit in the wilderness, and then all of a sudden a reference spawns. And I'd figure the more players there are, the more that they would spawn. So if there's, a clan that, they have like a good 20 people online and they're all just sitting in the wilderness just kind of bullshitting, I feel like it could be a little easy, a little too easy, possibly. I mean, it does say mostly in places where a lot of players are, or a lot of player activity. So I'm wondering if that means like you have to actually be doing something. Like it makes me wonder like if a bunch of people were to be just sitting in the wilderness killing each other and shit, at Edgeville for instance, if there was enough people PKing, like let's say I don't know like 20 people or so. They're just everyone's actually PKing. It makes me wonder that even if in a low wilderness level, will I mean, I believe the higher the wilderness, I think it says, yeah, the higher the wilderness level, the higher the level of the reverence you'll find. In the KBD cave, you can also find the reverent dragons, but you'll never find any of the other ones, only the dragon reverent. Now, of course, everyone knows that the Dragon Reverend is the highest, so KBD might be a more of a common thing, so definitely want to be kind of careful with going to KBD for anyone that gets it as a task to kill it for Slayer, or if they just want to go there and just kill it because why not. You definitely want to be a little cautious of probably going out there now, because there possibly could be just a single person or a few people that are just sitting out there waiting for people to teleport. Because I mean, it's been a while. It has been a while, unless it was changed. I always remember that when you teleport to the King Black Dragon, um, it teleports you outside of the area. Like, you actually have to run in, and you're actually in the wilderness for a short period of time, if I am correct. I mean, like I said, it's been way too long since I've been to KBD on here, but from what I remember, that's how it was. So I'm not sure how it works now, but yeah, definitely want to probably be a little careful on that. I mean, it could have changed. I don't really know, but I'm kind of surprised that they've actually added a Reverend Dragon actually where KBD is, because unless it's been way too long since I've been there and I don't remember, but I mean, KBD actually isn't wilderness. I mean, like, that's what it's supposed to be anyway. I mean, again, like, it's been way too damn long since I've been at KBD, so I don't even remember, honestly. So if I'm completely wrong, ignore me. But let's see. You can talk to Death in Edgeville to obtain a Reverent Clue Scroll, which will point you towards the nearest Reverend. This is not automatically updated if a Reverend spawns near you or when the closest one dies, so you need to recheck regularly. This seems kind of interesting. I mean, I feel like I could see this kind of making more people be in the wilderness. That is one thing, and it's kind of nice to see that, because I always see people constantly complaining that there's no one ever in the wilderness. Like, there's just every single day I'm on here, that's all I ever see people talking about, is why is there no one ever in the wilderness. Now, being someone like myself, I don't really care too much about PKing. I'm garbage at it. I don't really care to say that I suck at it, because I do. I mean, I've gotten some, like, not here, but I've gotten some kills like PKing before, but not really something amazing. Like, I used to, way back in the day, I used to PK in Classic. That was a lot of fun. 3 ticking people was, or well, not well. I mean, back then ticks were a lot different, but basically 3 combat ticks in a sense, 3 hits. You couldn't move out of combat for your first 3 hits. You actually had to take. Oh, you had to actually take damage 3 times before. You had to take damage 3 times before you could get out of combat. Or, like, if you attack somebody, they have to attack you 3 times before they can get out of combat. So you could just rush someone, get that 1 extra hit in, and then they have to be in combat until they've hit you 3 times. And there was also no eating involved as well while you're in combat back then. So you pretty much had no choice but to just take the hits. And if you were to be dead, that was it. You were dead. I PK'd way back then, and I had a lot of fun with it. Then they changed everything, and PKing really became a really shitty thing, because a lot of times whenever I PK, I'm always being called a safer. I mean, when you're someone that's used to PVMing, you don't really, sit there and want to sit on, 50, 60 HP. When you're PVMing, you don't want to sit on that, or even 70. Most players sit on 70 when PKing. even though it can happen, people can still, hit crazy numbers. Like me myself, I wish I was more so someone that like hybrided a lot more, because especially like doing reverence and stuff. I mean, with hybriding, I'm sure it's becoming a little bit more common right now, just because the fact that people going out and killing reverence, they're probably also grabbing other gear, just if someone does come to try to kill them. Um, they have other ways of killing someone. So, I mean, with that being said, though, I mean, it's like I said, would be nice to for myself to be a little better at kind of hybriding in a sense, just because, um, like PKing would actually be a little bit more interesting to me. Um, but besides that, let's see. The Reverends can heal themselves, use all attack types, depending on your protection, prayer, and armor, and their ranged attacks can freeze you. Higher level Reverends freeze more often and longer. So, I mean, I've killed Reverence on a different server before. I killed them a few times, I believe, on actual RuneScape as well. Um, but I always went with like a group of people. And I mean, really, like that's pretty much how Reverence always have been. I don't know how insane it is. I mean, myself, I don't really care too much to really go in the wilderness really for any reason at all. So, I mean, I'm not someone that just wants to just go and like chill in the wilderness trying to get some loots. It's just not something I'd really want to honestly do. Um, Now, with the fact of them freezing you with the ranged attacks, I mean, in other servers I've played, I've killed them, and yeah, they do freeze you, just like a barrage would, pretty much. Um, Now, for the fact of them using all attack types depending on your protection, prayer, and armor, I don't know if that's actually how it normally is. I mean, I guess it is. I mean, I guess like mainly what some people would do is they'd wear like mage armor. Well, I guess you could wear something like Torags and just like pray mage or something like that. And then I guess I don't know exactly what the Reverend would do then, but I know on like most servers I played, I always used Blood Barrage, and that worked just fine. So I don't know exactly if it could work like that on here or not, but all around, I mean, Reverends seem to be like they're just the same as they pretty much should be. Um, let's see here. What's another one of these things on here? Reverends are now assigned as a Slayer task by the Elite Wilderness Slayer Master. Any level of Reverend is enough to complete the task, including Reverend Guardians in the player-owned house treasure room. And that was another thing I actually wanted to know. I'm going to guess the Reverend Guardian that's inside of people's houses, I'm going to guess does not drop any loot. I could be wrong on that. I haven't tested, haven't heard anyone talking about it, so I don't really know. I'm just gonna go with what I'm pretty much feeling is correct, and that it won't drop the loot unless, I mean, again, I don't even know anything about it. I don't know if like maybe prior to this update that they did actually drop loot. I have no idea. Like, I want to say like nothing in player on houses drops loot, but I honestly could be wrong. I've never done it before, so I honestly don't know. Let's see. On death, Reverends always give PkHonor points, and sometimes also Slayer points, on top of regular Slayer points if you got them assigned as a task. Now, that seems pretty interesting, because a lot of people always complain about the fact of, like, they have to get, 1,000,000,000 Slayer points. I don't remember how many it is. Like, you gotta get, like, 10,000 Slayer points or something. I don't remember. It's either like 10,000 or 100,000, 50,000. I think it's 50,000. You have to get like a stupid amount of Slayer points though, for I believe it is for being able to morph into death. It's kind of high of how many points you need. So it's kind of nice, I guess, to see like something else you could do to get Slayer points. And It also makes it to where, like, if you do come up dry, you get no loots from Reverence. I don't know how many points it really is, but at least from just killing them, just killing them in general, you'll make some kind of money from, after a while. Let's see. All Reverence drop PvP equipment: Azuriel, Morgan, Stadius, and Vesta. If I said any of those names wrong, whatever. As well as stacks as Morgan's javelins and throwing axes, rocktails, and lots of coins, and some runes. Complete drop table can soon be found in our wiki. The higher the level of the Reverend, the higher its drop rates. So right there shows you that you can get every single drop that they drop, even from just killing a goblin. I think, or no, it's an imp. My bad. I think, well, I don't, whatever. The imp though, being the lowest level one, from what I remember, I think the imp was like level like 17 or something. Like, it's like super low level and has barely any HP, honestly. So, I mean, I'm sure that the lower level imps, you probably, or lower level reverence, I feel like you don't find as much, maybe. But I don't really know. Let's see. What? Hold on a second. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, for the fact, though, that, of course, yes, most of people that are going to get drops is not going to be from the lower level reverence, but it just makes me wonder on if low level reverence are still, like, a decent thing to kill. Like, that's another thing that doesn't actually get talked about on the update, is seeing like if the points that you get, you're getting the random PkHonor points, and then you also sometimes get Slayer points. It does say you always will get PkHonor points, but it doesn't say if the different Reverend you kill is different points. So, I mean, that being said, if you just went around the wilderness and just only found like the really low level imp, or I keep saying imps, the low level reverence. If you find the imps, you find whatever the other ones are. I think there honestly is a goblin. I think it's a hobgoblin or something. If you just went around and like only found the low level ones, it makes me wonder, do they give the same amount of points? Because that's not talked about on here. So that's something that kind of like, I don't know anything about it. I'm sure maybe someone else out there, maybe y'all have gone out and killed them already. I know plenty of people already have, especially right now because of the event that's going on. So there's, I believe it's a 20% extra drop rate. So definitely worth it to go out there and do that. I may at some point, maybe during this weekend, since it is an event and it's a little bit better drops right now, I may go out there. I did actually buy something that I'll get into in a second here. Let's see. The Reverend Dragons use Dragon Breath, unlike the ones in RS, but also drop stacks of noted Dragon Bones, and obviously have the highest drop rates of all. Now, I mean, again, like I said before, everyone knows that the Reverend Dragons is the dragon is the hardest Reverend. With that being said, of course, I remember, pretty sure it was in RS. I actually got one hit. I was kind of a lower level at the time. I got one hit though by a Reverend Dragon that hit me for, I think it was like a 56 or something. Like I said, I was pretty low level, but I got hit pretty damn hard. And I'm guessing that's what they're talking about. That the Reverend Dragons using Dragon Breath. It's not like it is in RuneScape where they actually use Dragon Breath. It'll just be, I'm sure, something that's going to probably still hit you pretty damn hard, but it's not going to be like it is in RuneScape where it's as if you're walking up to a dragon and just letting it breathe fire on you. I'm guessing it's not going to be like that, and that's really nice because that makes you don't have to be forced to take a Dragon Fire Shield or an anti-Dragon Shield. You probably, like, I don't know if they're still going to have it to where it does damage, like, as if it was kind of like you were somewhat protected, because I wonder if it does use Dragon Breath, if you could just use an anti-dragon fire potion, if you could just use a potion, it'd be pretty worth it. You wouldn't really take that much damage from the Reverend Dragon. So that's a pretty cool thing. And I mean, for the fact they dropped Noted Bones, don't know how many, but that kind of helps some people out as well, because those are some pretty decent cash. So I'd figure, I don't know if it like always will drop Noted Bones, and I don't know how many. So I don't really know on that stuff too much. I mean, again, most of this update is just reverence, but I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about it and stuff, though. And me personally, I haven't done this shit. So am I really the best person to really be talking about this stuff? Probably not. But I thought this update was kind of intriguing, so thought I'd kind of do a little bit of a video on it. Now, all reverence dropped the salve amulet. Now, for anyone that doesn't know what the salve amulet is what it allows you to do more damage to undead. That's the main notable thing about it. But this is what it does stat-wise. It gives you plus 9 to all attack stats, plus 14 to all defense stats, and plus 8 to strength, and plus 15 to prayer. It's almost as good as a fury, but with better prayer bonus. Also gives you a 10% max hit against undead NPCs, and I'll get to that in a second. Reverence always gives Slayer points on death while you wear the amulet, rather than only some of the time. Does not affect Slayer points obtained through Slayer task. So if you do get a Slayer task, you're not going to get extra points. I mean, well, you will get extra points, but it's going to be from just killing the Reverend itself. If you have the salve amulet on, it will allow you to always get Slayer points from killing them. If you're on the Slayer task, you will also still get your normal how many ever Slayer points. So that's kind of a cool thing, that you can wear the salve amulet and you'll dominantly always get Slayer points. It just gives you, again, it's just more of a way to get Slayer points, and more of a way to where you're able to make even more money from killing Reverence. So this was something I was kind of wanting to show, though, right quick here. If I can figure out where the hell it is. Yeah, there's a Fury. I want to show because this is the salve amulet. I bought this, probably shouldn't have, probably should have went out and just got it myself, but I just want to show this is a Fury. Pretty much everyone should know the bonuses with that. And then this is a salve amulet. Plus 9 to all, plus 14 defenses, and 8 and 15. So overall, a salve amulet is pretty decent. The only really slight change is that the salve, it gets -1 all attack and -1 all defense, but it does have that plus 10 more prayer. So overall, could be pretty decent. It's not a big loss per se on how they are. For just using for just regular purposes, but you can, however, actually get the enchanted one, and I'll get to that in a second. Because right here, you can now buy the salve amulet E, the enchanted one, from the Slayer shop. Costs 1 regular salve amulet, 1,500 Slayer points, 500 PkHonor points, 500 mil coins. It is still a tradable item, and it offers the following bonuses on top of the regular salve amulet effects: plus 10 to all attack stats, plus 15 to all defense stats, plus 8 strength, plus 20 prayer. This makes it the exact same as a Fury as you just saw, but it will also give you better prayer. From where the Fury gives you a plus 5, you can wear a salve enchanted and get plus 20, so you get an extra plus 15 prayer. Now, really, is that worth it just to have just that extra prayer. Is that really worth it? That's kind of debatable on what you're really doing, I suppose. I mean, me, anytime I'm PVMing, I'm pretty much always using prayer. So to me, I want that. That's one thing I want. Now, this is one thing that the salve amulet does, which is a reason why I wanted it so much, is that it automatically applies the soul split effect on undead enemies or NPCs, costing no prayer points, similar to the Whip of Souls. Now, that seems really intriguing because for anyone that doesn't know, so I'll get a little bit more into it in a second here. Anyone that doesn't know, when you're doing barrows, if you're doing either just normal barrows or if you're doing risky barrows, the Barrows brothers are all undead. For anyone that doesn't know, they're all undead. So because of the fact that they're all undead, it pretty much makes it to where you can hit pretty damn well. You can hit pretty damn well though. On them for one, because you're going to get that 10% bonus of damage against undead enemies. So because of that, you're getting a little bit of a boost for your damage. Not only that though, with the fact of that the enchanted one giving you a soul split effect, for anyone that's done risky barrows before, you could use blood barrage and you could soul split, but you're probably going to get out hit because of the fact of not having protect melee on. So this is kind of an alternative though that you can actually do. You could wear the amulet, use blood barrage, and as far as I can tell that should stack because I can use soul split and blood barrage and that stacks. So with that being said, this should stack, and if this stacks, this is going to be insane. I'll be able to probably sit there, stupid phone, I'll probably be able to sit there for just like a good solid, I feel like I could probably sit there for like 30 minutes or so, probably just in one inventory, stay there for 30 minutes I feel, at risky barrows. I could be wrong though. I'm sure with multiple people, I could probably be there until my inventory is full of equips. Doing it solo, however, I'm not sure how that's going to work too well. I might kind of try to do that maybe either at the end of this video or something around there, because I'm actually really close to being able to actually buy the enchanted amulet. Now, I feel like I kind of did, because people have been saying there's somewhat of a common-ish drop to get the salve amulet from revs. I probably should have went out and just got one myself, honestly. But I ended up buying it for 1 bill. Again, this update's not that old. I think it's when did this on the sleeve? I don't even know. Came out yesterday. Yeah, came out yesterday, roughly, I don't even know how long ago. And give me 1 second here. Alright. But yeah, I'm actually quite close to being able to buy the enchanted amulet. Maybe I'll look into possibly trying to either at the ending of this or something, possibly actually showing kind of if it is really much different and how well it honestly works, and if it honestly even does work, because I honestly don't know myself. So, because I have everything else, I just need the cash. I pretty much spent, for the most part, all my cash on just buying the amulet itself. And, before, I have been doing quite a bit of risky barrows. That's how I've been making most of my money, just from doing random slayer tasks. And just always, for the most part, I almost always get barrows. Because I only just use the hard one, because I don't really care to really get the wilderness tasks that much and shit like that, so I don't really bother with those things. I more prefer to just go and kill a normal monster rather than going out and killing a boss and blah blah blah. Risky barrows though is pretty easy, so I don't mind to really do that. Let's see, is there, I think that's, oh no, this is another thing on it. Now, to me, this seems really weird, because of the fact that, right now they're kind of expensive. I'm sure they probably will go down a considerable amount, I feel, I mean, a few people have said they're kind of common, so I'm not really too sure, honestly. I don't know like how common they are, if they're rare. I honestly I have no idea. So they probably will go down in price. I feel just right now, everyone just kind of wants one, just because it's a new item, whatnot. But the other thing on here that the amulet does, the enchanted one, I'm guessing is what this is the enchanted one. Yeah, I'm pretty because it says everything that it does on the okay. So with having the enchanted one, you get all the stuff you got before, but you also protects all your items on death, but gets destroyed in the process. Now this does not work when killed by another player or in safe mini games. Uh, but then it won't be destroyed either. So this means you can't go into a fight, you can't go into a PvP and expect for you not to, all your shit's gonna drop on the ground. That's it. Or if you're in a safe minigame, But if you get killed by an NPC, it will do that, which that kinda sucks, honestly. That could really, really suck. Reason being is, let's say, I don't know, let's say for instance, you're at Risky Barrows and your internet goes out or something, and yeah, you'd be kind of screwed, honestly. It'd be quite screwed. You would be kind of sitting there like, what the hell am I doing now? Because, you would, if you were to die, you would lose your amulet, but you'd have all your stuff. I mean, yeah, that's kind of nice, but if you actually went out and actually got the enchanted one yourself, I mean, rip 1500 Slayer points, 500 PkHonor, and 500 mil. You could also just straight buy the enchanted one. I mean, right now, I think the cheapest one I think I've seen so far is 4 bill. I think for an enchanted one. So I mean, be kind of shit to honestly like DC, or let's say you're not paying 100% attention, or for instance like me, like even just yesterday actually I was at Risky Barrows. I was at full HP and I was watching a stream, and literally like in 20 seconds I was down to 4 HP. I almost died at Risky Barrows. Um, so I mean, it's things like that. Whereas you're so used to being able to AFK pretty easily, like for a good, like 10 or so seconds, maybe a little longer, and then all of a sudden, you're like dead. It'd be kind of shit, honestly. So, with that being said, it's kind of something that if you're wearing the amulet, the enchanted one per se, you probably want to kind of pay a bit more attention when you're wearing it, because you don't want to be kind of screwed. Stupid phone. Whenever you're going and you're doing shit, you don't want to actually sit there and lose your amulet, and you rip whatever it costs you to get it. So definitely want to watch out for that though. And again, it does not work being killed by another player, so you cannot be kind of a Jew about it and get out of losing all your shit. It doesn't work like that. Now, something that I also wanted to kind of talk about was that one of the other things that this kind of added was, because of the fact that there is the undead that you're able to do more damage to. I know plenty of people probably don't have any idea of what really is considered undead that would really be worth to kill. Now, the number one thing, of course, is going to be killing barrows, because those are undead. Another thing, of course, is reverence. Reverence are undead, so having a salve amulet will help with doing more damage to, killing more reverence. So there is that. I don't really know of other things that are actually in PkHonor to honestly really know like what would really be that good to honestly kill. But I mean, pretty much the most notable ones is going to be uh, the Barrows brothers and Killing Reference. Um, I don't really know of any other ones. I mean, there is a list on the homepage of the website. It does have a page to the RuneScape wiki, which is what everything that's undead it shows on this list, and that's what will be more affected with using this amulet. So there's that. I believe. Let's see. Let me open that back up. Let's see. Um, oh yeah, and all it shows because it talks about all undead creatures as described in the RS wiki. Um, now they're also counted as undead in PkHonor. This means the salve amulet effects will apply to all of them, including the Barrows brothers, and they are vulnerable to crumble undead. But Onyx bolt effects will not work on any of them as described. And it shows a link to the 2007 RuneScape wiki for Onyx bolts. Pretty much, the way they work in 2000 or in old school RuneScape is how they're going to work on here. It also shows that notes crumble undead has not been properly tested, so we need some feedback. I kind of want to do some testing on that as well to kind of see, just to know if that does honestly work. But yeah, let's see. The other stuff here is you no longer require an emblem in your inventory to play Bounty Hunter. As of now, you can leave your higher tier emblem in your bank to try to get another tier 1 emblem from another player. Now me, I don't really do any kind of PKing, but that's kind of cool to see that they're doing that, because I know some people had been kind of complaining about that, so it's kind of nice to see that. You can now use the ::R and then your message to quick reply to any in-game personal message. This was included in a previous update, but it accidentally made an admin only command. This is now fixed. For anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's really supposed to be more used for people that are on the browser. For anyone that doesn't know, you cannot use the tab key when you're in the browser to quick respond to someone that's private messaging you. So you're able to just use ::R and then message, and it will reply back to them. So that's kind of a nice thing. For people that use the client, though, you don't really need that. Not really much of a point to it, but it's there for people to use the browser. As of now, when you use a teletab, any attack or projectile that was still underway will not hit you anymore. Now this is kind of a cool thing because I've almost died from that actually happening, where I'll go to use my teleport tab. I'll unclick my prayer as I'm throwing the tab down, because it's what I'm always so used to doing. And tab and then and click my prayer, and that turns off my prayer. I've almost gotten actually killed from that. I'm sitting at 80 HP, and then I teleport, unclick my prayer, I get hit as I'm teleporting with my prayer off, and I get hit for a 30 or a 40. I think actually at one point I actually forgot a dragon fire shield, and I tabbed before I technically got hit. But when I teleported, I was at Edgeville, I actually got hit for a 50 something. So it's kind of nice that that's actually fixed. Also, as well as where if you're messing around in the wilderness and someone's attacking you and you tab, they had a chance before to actually kill you as you were teleporting. So again, a nice thing to see that was fixed. Now this is an interesting thing. This part of the update is making a little bit of things kind of annoying. Me myself, I've enjoyed doing Risky Barrows quite a lot. I've enjoyed the hell out of it. Before I did do the just normal running around looting the chest and just doing that. Just go around, kill all the brothers, loot the chest, and try to get some loot. Now, after doing risky barrows and understanding how to do it in a very well mannered way, and also finding other people to do it with makes it a lot of fun. I mean, it is you're able to solo it, but it's a hell of a lot more fun to do it with some people. It's way more fun, and you can last way longer of a trip, which is a lot more nice and quite a bit more AFKable as well. So, with that being said, this next part kind of, I mean, I like it. Yes, it's nice, but at the same time, it makes a lot more things crowded. Drop rates on all barrows equipment, both from the chest and risky barrows, Dagonoth rings, Bandos chest plate and tacet, Armadillo godsword, D claws, uncut onyx, draconic visage, a whip, and a a dark bow, have been slightly increased in order to reduce the prices of PKing gear, making it easier for newer players to obtain it. This should not affect the profitability of getting these items since you'll be getting more of them now. Now, one thing that I find really kind of funny about that said there is the fact that it says this should not affect the probability of getting profitability, meaning as obviously making them go down in price, and or as well, I guess, is saying that it's not gonna make you demotivated if you sit there and you get like in one trip of Bandos you get like 3 drops. It would make you more want to go back there, but also as well, are you going to be losing profit compared to what the prices were in drop rates? Yeah, you are. I mean, I don't understand why that was even put into this post, because I mean that's like saying as if you went and like normally without this update you went out and killed Bandos and got tacets. You sold them for 1.5 bill and you went on with your day. Even with the fact that this update just coming out yesterday, people have been selling Bandos pieces for 1.1 and 1.2 bill. Some people are still trying to get their 1.3, 1.4, but they've been going down. And I'm sure probably by the end of today, people are going to be sitting there buying and probably selling for 1 bill. Now, again, AGS is going down also. I mean, I'm sure it's probably been going down beforehand of this update. I don't really know. But I know before AGS was like 1.7, 1.8. It was pretty close to 2 bill. I know at one point it was 2 bill, but then it was going down. I remember being like 1.7 though. And then like earlier today, someone was selling one for 1.5 and someone was buying one for 1.35. So, I mean, you can see that, people are understanding that they're going down in price. So they're, they see that and they're trying to, some people are trying to sell their stuff for cheaper because they feel like it's going to go down. And more than likely it will. Honestly, it will. I mean, uncut onyxes, I don't even really see why that needs to be boosted. I mean, with the fact that salve amulets are out, I mean, most people probably aren't going to be really using Furies, so an uncut onyx really isn't going to be shit. I think before, like, uncut onyxes were about, like, 60, 70, or 80 mil. I don't even remember how much they were, honestly. But, they weren't really that expensive. And, I mean, to really increase the drop rate of getting an onyx, I mean, I think it's kind of pointless, honestly. But, to each their own, I guess. And the draconic visage, that one I kind of seem interesting because, I mean, all around on my account I have, the account I have right now that I'm on, this account, I've gotten 5 visage drops. I haven't really killed that many dragons, honestly. And I've gotten 5 drops. And the funny thing is as well, is that they've all been from black dragons, which is actually the lowest. That's the dragon that has the lowest drop rate to drop a dragon or a draconic visage. It's the lowest drop rate of a dragon that drops it, and I've gotten 5 of them from it. So, I mean, really, I mean, I guess some people just get really unlucky. I've probably just gotten like super ass lucky or something, but I mean, increasing that drop rate just seems a little ridiculous, kind of. But whatever. I mean, because they're just trying to make it to where PKing supplies aren't as expensive, and trying to make it to where a newer player within their first day or two or so that they could easily have like possibly a set of bandos and possibly doing some like simple barrows and getting some starting money and stuff to do things. So I mean, I guess I can see that it being pretty decent there, but I feel like really increasing everything's, making things drop a little bit more often, slightly increasing drop rates. I mean, I guess is fine. Makes kind of doing Slayer a little bit more rewarding, whereas, like, you'd get a Slayer task to go kill, like, I don't know, like 40 or 50 abyssal demons or something. You go and kill them and you get pretty much nothing. You get like an abyssal head and you just kind of want to jump off a bridge after that. Um, but like it's really kind of does it really make it demotivating of getting drops now? I feel like it really will be, honestly. I mean, like I was at Barrows yesterday, and being at Barrows when the update came out. I mean, before, because I was with the same group. I've been with a group, and we go out and we kill. We do risky Barrows, and it's usually about 3 or 4 of us. And normally, normally we were getting about I was roughly getting about 3, maybe 4 drops in inventory. And with barraging and having a few people there, you don't really use too much food. I mean, really, the only main reason why I ever have to bank usually is because I run out of prayer pots. Um, so, I mean, I'm usually able to stay there for a pretty decent amount of time. But then, when the update hit, went back there, and went from getting like roughly 3 or 4 drops to my first inventory, I got 10 drops in one inventory. That just seems a little excessive. I mean, that's more than double what I was getting before. It's like a 2.5 times more drops, which is just, to me, just completely insane. I mean, I don't know if everything's like that. I mean, because the people I've been chilling with and everything, they went to go do bandos, and I think it was within like 30 minutes. The 2 people that were there, one of them got, I think both of them got tassies within 30 minutes. There was two tassie drops. Now they could have just gotten lucky, but I mean, like I've went with a team before, and in 30 minutes we got 1 tassie before this update, and there was more of us, so we were doing it way faster. So I mean, do I really feel like they've kind of increased a little too much? Yeah, I honestly do. I really kind of do, honestly. I mean, if that's the case, whereas normally, like there was a video, I think it's kind of an older video, but Aiden made a video of like a rough estimate of what you could, roughly get at bandos. I mean, for the most part, you're pretty much guaranteed almost a drop every hour, which was pretty much guaranteeing you 1 bill every hour. Whereas now, if the drop rate is practically times 2, then within that 1 hour, you're pretty much guaranteed to probably get 2 drops, if not probably 3. You'll have that slight chance to get probably a 3rd drop. And I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, really, for the fact that they were increasing drop rates this much, just kind of seems a little excessive, honestly. I mean, to me personally, I feel like it's a little excessive. But I guess they're trying to make it a little bit easier to do stuff, which I really don't see why. Like, there's so many high-ranked players right now that, I mean, honestly, most of them don't really do shit. So, I mean, I know a lot of them still PVM and stuff, but, I mean, it's just, for most of them, it's just kind of pointless. Like, I know a lot of the higher-ups have kind of quit and stuff, and kind of went on, lived their life, and play other games. So, it's kind of interesting that a lot of these things have being done, because this is definitely going to drop the price of a lot of things, which really sucks, because I've actually been getting into doing a lot more PVMing, and I've bought a lot more things for PVMing. I mean, for instance, if I look at my bank, I have full bandos here. And it's kind of shit though that I paid I think 2 I think I had to pay 2.7. I think is what. Yeah, I think I paid 2.7 for my set. Now my set's going for about like 2.4. Well, 2.2 to 2.4. So kind of shit, honestly. But if I also look here, so the barrows loot, I've pretty much sold most of it. I still have a few extras here and there, but I think I have like every piece besides. I think I'm missing three. Yeah, it looks like I'm missing three pieces. DH body and Carol's body. Um, and that's the thing as well. Like doing barrows where before I could spend the whole day at barrows and maybe get like, if I was doing it solo, maybe 20 or 30 drops. Doing it with people, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on who I was really with. So, I mean, it's one of those things that like, whereas before, I'd get very little drops, not too many. It's like now, it's like almost, if I'm doing it solo, almost at least every three waves, meaning as all the brothers coming out. Before, I mean, I would go like 5, 6 waves in a row dry, wouldn't get no drops. But then like that next following wave, I'd get like 2 drops, sometimes 3 drops, and then like next wave I get like 1 drop. Next wave get nothing. Next wave get a drop. Whereas, like, and it was more often though that I would go dry. Like, there was one point where I'd go like 14, 15 waves dry. Whereas now it's like I get to my third wave. Like I was testing it yesterday. Every time I'd get to my third wave, I was dry. I always would get a drop. Or well, no, it'd be on my fourth wave technically. I'd go like 3 waves dry, and then on my fourth wave, I would pretty much always get a drop. Or I was getting drops even before that. There was even a few times that that I was doing solo that I was getting a drop every single wave. Like I think I had a streak. I was like on a in 7 waves right in a row. I had gotten at least 1 drop. I think in one of the waves I gotten even 2 drops. So I mean, like really, the drop rate's a little too high in my opinion. I mean, really, to some players they might like that. They might think that that's a lot better for PKing, which it might be. It might actually intrigue me to actually go DH PKing. But also the fact that, I mean, you can see my bank. I mean, I do have one, but I've gotten literally one, or no, I've gotten two, but I think I sold the other one. I don't know why I would have sold it, but I think it was because of the fact that was whenever the barrows was increasing, or it was increasing in drop rate. So I wanted to instantly just try to sell off a lot of the stuff that was kind of expensive right now, because I know they're probably going to start dropping. I think that's pretty much really it, though. I mean, the drop rate, which I mean, I don't fully agree with, but it's kind of nice at the same time. The wiki button has been re-enabled, so the wiki thing on the client, for anyone that uses the client, which would assume most people use the client. If you click the wiki button though, it will take you to the wiki. Also, if you do : rules, it will now points to the rules on the wiki. And you can now use the soul split prayer while having a whip of souls or completionist cape souls equipped, so you can use them in PvP situations. The effects still don't stack though. And then it talks about the fact of the Reverent Weekends for the next 2 days and 10 hours and 25 minutes and 45 seconds. There is going to be a 20% drop rate on all Reverents. Does not include the Reverents in the player-owned houses. Which, with that being said, I'm gonna guess that the Reverents in the house can actually still drop stuff. I don't really know though. And then reverence now give twice as many PkHonor points on death, and reverence give twice as many Slayer points on death. Does not affect the Slayer points obtained during the task. So right now, definitely, probably a good idea to go out there, kill some revs, get some loot, get some points, make some cash, all the gains. It's pretty much, it seems like that's what the best thing really is. Um, so I'm actually gonna sit here. I'm gonna see if I can like scrounge up enough money though, get that enchanted, get this enchanted, and see if there's a possibility of this thing actually being completely amazing. Alright, so I guess also you'll get to see what exactly it is like to also get one yourself. If I just go to here, yeah, 1500 points, 500 PkHonor points, 500 mil, and also a normal salve amulet. So yeah, let's go ahead and grab that. So now, yeah, I used quite a bit of my points up. I'm kind of glad. Like, actually, yesterday I was, or no, the day before yesterday, I was actually going to buy one of the necklaces from here. I was actually going to get one of these and sell it, but kind of glad I honestly didn't. I'm actually really glad I did not do that. So yeah, let's look at the bonuses right quick just to verify. There it is, all plus 10, plus 15 on defense, 8 strength, and then the plus 20 prayer. So yeah, this amulet will be, in my opinion, quite a bit better than the Fury. Now, price wise, this thing is stupid expensive, but you know, we'll see on how well it is of the fact that it's supposed to also do soul split. So I'm gonna bank. I'm gonna grab out my maging gear. I'm gonna go to Risky Barrows, and probably there'll be a bunch of people there, but we'll see. Well, I'm actually quite intrigued, honestly. Here, actually came here, and surprisingly, there was no one actually here. But yeah, I want to see how well this honestly works, because I feel like this has got to be just completely OP. I mean, this has got to pretty much keep you alive infinitely while you're here. So I mean, like this, yeah. I mean, you can see like I'm just sticking at max HP. Stupid clue scroll. Yeah, I mean, like it's sticking me at full HP almost no matter what. So is this necklace worth it? Yeah. I would very much say so. I mean, this makes Barrows like so AFKable now. It is just beyond easy. I mean, this was already pretty easy enough. I mean, doing it solo, it kinda sucked usually because of the fact that you would have to bank quite often. But I mean, like the inventory I have right now, this is usually the inventory I take whenever I'm here with other people. This is normally the inventory I would take. And you know, like I didn't really know if anyone was here, so I figured I'd just bring an inventory as if someone else was here, because I pretty much figured people would be here. But to see that no one was actually here really surprises me. But I mean, you can see that like my HP is just staying at full. Like this is just OP. Oh my god. This is honestly amazing though. Like this makes it to where doing solo, doing the solo is just awesome. It'll be a lot more fun because what I like to do is I like to do Slayer here. A lot of people could say like, "Oh, I'm stupid for doing it," but I mean, literally, I've gained probably about 10 million Slayer, if not more, experience from literally just doing Barrows tasks. Just because it's fun. I mean, you know, you get pretty good loot. You know, I'll do a few other ones that can give decent loot, but yeah, I usually don't really get much. But this, I mean, I get all kinds of loot from doing this shit. So definitely, this will make it a lot more fun to honestly do this stuff. And I mean, hell, you can even look. You can even look in the clan chat I'm in right now. These are the people I've been chilling with and stuff. And Look at that. Look at that. In 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, this dude has gotten 3 whips. Do you think whips are going to go on down in price? I think so. So it's one of those things. Like I feel like the drop rate just got turned up way too high, like way too high. I mean, I'm actually quite surprised I haven't gotten a drop yet. But I think the last time I was here, I was with the clan and stuff, and we were kind of getting like loots left and right. So I think right now my drop rate's probably complete shit. I mean, I know whenever no one else from the clan is with you, you don't. There's no more LSP, but yeah. I mean, pretty much though, this was just something that I didn't really think would take an hour. But I'm sure Longy will appreciate this video being an hour long. So yeah, I hope for anyone that doesn't read updates and wanted to kind of have someone's other opinion from the update. Um, you know, glad to share my opinion. And wow, okay, I actually did get kind of close to dying there. So it doesn't like extremely work all the time. I mean, you can still get hit for a lot of damage honestly here. So um, yeah, I'm surprised I honestly didn't get a drop at all while just kind of sitting here and talking about stuff. But um, yeah, I mean, I may do more of these. I mean, mainly I'm waiting for Iron Man. For anyone that has watched my other stuff, I've talked about that the main thing I'm waiting for is Iron Man. Once Iron Man comes to the server, this is going to be the dominant server that I will be playing. I know before, yes, I did have an Iron Man series, and I did quit because of how little of content there was for me to really do for cash. I know some people have suggested like, oh, why don't you just go to Barrow Chest? Apparently, people weren't paying attention to the fact that I was an Iron Man, meaning I could not get any kind of donor status at all unless I was to technically look at that. There's 2 drops right there. But technically, I wouldn't be able to actually become a donator or a premium person unless I was to pay real money. Now, I did say that I could actually buy those things, but I mean, literally, I would have to stay and get crystal bows for hours. Like, that's literally where I would have been for just days. And do I really want to do that? Not really. Not at all. I really would not want to sit there and just be slaving bows all day. Now, granted, is that what I'm going to have to do for this Iron Man? If I need money, yeah, I suppose so. But there's plenty of other things I could honestly do for just some beginning cash. I mean, really, you don't need that much cash for being an Iron Man. Like really, the only thing like you need a bunch of cash for is like something like, if you want to like unlock ancients or the curses. If you want to unlock curses forever, I don't know if you honestly. I think it's like when you're premium, it's cheaper or something. I don't remember what the hell it is, but whatever it is, like it costs a lot of money to unlock curses permanently. That's one thing. Like I think. I mean, of course, another thing would be like getting one of these, 500 mil. But that's not really that difficult. I mean, really, cash wise, you don't really need cash per se as a Iron Man. It's useful for if you have to buy some things from the shop or whatever. Which I'm really hoping that Mike ends up making it to where it's just like it was like how I was playing Iron Man, which is where the normal normal common drops you could get from a monster you couldn't buy from a store per se. Like things like getting like a hammer, like yeah, you can buy that from the store, whatever. That's not like a common monster drop, but something like for instance, like you want to get a rune plate body or rune plate legs. Technically, yes, you can get those from a store in RuneScape, which was one thing that I did do. Like something like rune plate body and plate legs. Yeah, you can buy that in RuneScape. So you can buy that in the store on here. But things like, for instance, things you couldn't obtain, things like rune essence, you can't obtain that in any way, as far as I really know. I don't really think you can. But it makes it to where, like, you kind of, those kind of things, yeah, you'd kind of have to buy. Like things like, also like soft clay or something. Um, and then one thing that I did as well is made it to where, like, when I was making potions, that I had to either farm my potions, get the herb myself, or I could buy supplies for potions, but I had to buy them from the store unnoted. I could not buy the noted form, which made it so much to where it wasn't so easy. I mean, it was still easy as shit to get supplies, but I tried to force myself to not really sit there and just make potions all day, because I mean, I've done that a lot, too much on this account, as you can see. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here, though. Hour and 5 minutes. This will probably take me about 20-30 minutes to render, and then probably, all right. But yeah, it'll probably take me about 20-30 minutes to render. Well, whatever you want to say, making the video file smaller. Um, and then after that, it'll probably take me about 30 minutes, an hour, I think, roughly, to have this uploaded. So I'm hoping to have this up today. Hopefully, it should be up. Hopefully, it will be. But yeah, well, and there's another drop to end the video on. But yeah, I might do more of these kind of videos, just kind of like talking and saying random shit. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and peace.